We got to talk about the elephant in the room. The Seattle Mariners have gotten off to a very slow start at the plate so far in 2023 with just a record of 2-5 going into Cleveland starting today. The first series of the year, they did not put up very good at bats. However, against the Angels, they did look a little bit better. But one guy the Mariners really need to get going is Teoscar Hernandez, the biggest acquisition that the Mariners made this offseason. Now, Teo did have that 2-home run game. Teo was back. But diving into his numbers a little bit, you can start to see why Teo has been struggling thus far at the beginning of 2023 and what we can expect from Teo as the season goes along, because Teoscar Hernandez is a way better hitter than what we've seen so far in a Mariners uniform. So far in 2023, Teo has 24 at-bats and has struck out in 10 of them. He has a 167, 259, 458 slash line with an OPS plus of exactly 100. He has 4 hits in those 24 at-bats, and 2 of them have been home runs, and then 1 of them was a double. He just has 1 single on the season. For a guy hitting in the middle of your lineup, you definitely want to see a little bit better numbers than that at the beginning of the year. The good news for Teoscar Hernandez, however, is that his numbers are starting to look a little bit better. Obviously, Baseball Savant doesn't have a whole lot of data yet for the 2023 season, but we've gotten what we expected out of him, and that is his max exit velocity being in the upper echelon at 96th percentile. Interestingly enough, his sprint speed is actually down from 2022 and his career norms at just the 50th percentile. I would expect that to go up as he gets more opportunities. One thing that has been noted about Teoscar Hernandez so far is how good he has looked in the outfield. He has an 88th percentile of outs above average. Whether or not he'll be able to sustain that throughout 2023, I would highly doubt it, especially with an outfield jump in the 27th percentile. But overall in 2022, we saw a much better Teoscar Hernandez throughout the full season. 95th percentile in max exit velocity, which is right around where he is right now. His average exit velocity was in the 96th percentile. His hard hit percentage was in the 98th percentile. Teoscar Hernandez hits the ball harder than basically everybody in the major leagues. Barrel percentage in the 94th percentile, and obviously all these other numbers look really, really good. Of course, Teoscar Hernandez is going to strike out. Nobody has ever questioned that. Throughout his 8-year career, Teoscar Hernandez boasts a 29.4% strikeout rate. That is way higher than the 22.3% for MLB average. He definitely has a lower walk rate, but he hits a lot more home runs than almost everybody else in the majors with a 5.3% home run percentage. In 2022, Teoscar Hernandez didn't get going right away. In March and April, he played in just 6 games before suffering an injury, just 19 at-bats. He was hitting .316, however, in those 6 games. He played in May and only played in 19 games, struggled quite a bit, hitting .151, but after that, Teoscar Hernandez was the guy that everybody has always known. In June, Teo hit .327 with 6 home runs and 17 runs, 20 RBI, but he did strike out 31 times in 112 plate appearances. Overall, his first and second half were pretty similar as he hit just over .265 in both, with 12 home runs in the first half and 13 home runs in the second half. So while obviously he was injured in 2022, a slow start isn't necessarily abnormal for Teoscar Hernandez. In 2021, he hit .235 in April with just 2 home runs as well. And overall, Teoscar Hernandez may just be someone who's a slow starter, but he has also said that thus far, he just has not felt very timed up at the plate. Obviously, Teo played in the WBC, but did not get a lot of action like he would have in spring training, and therefore he just feels like he doesn't have his timing down. In my opinion, we really have nothing to worry about with Teoscar Hernandez. He hit .267, .316, .491 with a 126 OPS plus in 2022, smashing 25 home runs in the 131 games that he played. He was an all-star the year before that, hitting nearly 300 with a 131 OPS plus and 32 home runs. Teoscar Hernandez is going to be just fine. And I know the stigma is that this is just a lateral move from Mitch Haniger, and Mitch Haniger would have been better, but Mitch Haniger hasn't played yet for the San Francisco Giants. He's been hurt. Tell me if you've heard that story before. And I think there is one glaring issue for Mariners fans that we are all facing with the start for Teoscar Hernandez and Colton Wong and the like. But before I get into that, make sure you go check out Simply Seattle. They just had their new road trip merchandise release, their all new hats with some sick patches on the side. Make sure you use code Mojo10 at checkout for 10% off your order. You'll be helping us out and also helping out Simply Seattle. As Mariners fans, we have been let down time and time again, and there's some sort of stigma inside of us that thinks, yeah, it's just going to happen all over again. We look at Teoscar Hernandez and think this guy was one of the best hitters in baseball, and he's just going to be Jesse Winker all over again. We look at Colton Wong and we say, oh my gosh, he really has shown out in his career, but he's just going to be Adam Frazier all over again. Time and time again, Mariners fans think that players are going to come to Seattle and struggle because that's just what we've seen in the past. But they, of course, never note the guys that have come to Seattle and played really well. Think of Nelson Cruz or Robinson Cano. These are guys that came over to the Mariners and put up huge numbers for them after signing as free agents. It's always easier to look at the bad. It's always easier to look at the things and say, yeah, this is just gonna not get any better. But as Mariners fans, we have to break that stigma, and it starts in 2023. Of course, we broke the drought in 2022, so why not break this stigma too? If you're freaking out after 7 games, I get it, but relax. The Mariners are 2-5. The Astros are 3-4. The Mariners are 1 game behind the team that everybody thinks is going to win the World Series again. And just imagine, you could be feeling like Phillies fans. The team that went to the World Series last year, they started out 1-5. But no, we're Mariners fans. We're used to going on this roller coaster ride with this team, and we're going on it again in 2023. But what happens from 2023 and beyond? Can the Mariners keep some of their players around? Joe made a video yesterday about extension candidates for the Seattle Mariners. I have that video linked on the screen now. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners!